Boys and girls, I am at CCM in Bolton. Today I'm taking this beautiful machine out. So this is the Stealth Bobber. What an absolutely gorgeous day to ride today. It's beautiful, it's nice and sunny. Today's a big one. Usual fashion, we'll have a little walk around first, we'll have a test ride, and I will be brutally honest, I will tell you if it's any good. So stay with me for that. I'll try and give you as much specs as I can. Yeah, any questions, make sure you put it in the comments. I've had a little ride, we've ridden away into the countryside, found some decent lanes, so I've had a little ride of it already, but as promised, let's have a look around the bike. I'll show you the bits I like, I'll try and drop some facts and figures in as we're going. Let's just crack on, I'll show you the walk round. Absolutely beautiful close up. Now that's the thing with CCMs, just look how different that is to everything else. You can customize pretty much everything: suspension, brakes, different paint jobs, different parts, carbon parts, metal parts, aluminium parts. There's loads of things that you can do. Different exhaust, you name it, you can do it on this bike. Different seats. Honestly, the list is endless, to the point of I'd be here for about 20 minutes telling you just how you can change this bike to make it your own. But if you can actually think it and you've got an idea for it, you tell the guys at CCM and they will put something together for you. It's just all about the money. Now this bike, from a basic, let's say £10,500, this bike itself is £13,500, I believe, with the extras or the little bits that have gone on it to make it individual. I just absolutely love it. Lovely big thick spoke wheels, but the tyres look nice and chunky as well. They're quite wide tyres as far as the brakes and stuff go with this one. So it's a single disc at the back. We've got a single disc at the front, but again, I don't pay much attention to that, and it's weird because CCM you can customize everything, where this might have a particular brand of brake, you could change it if you wanted to. So if you bought one of these and wanted a set of Brembo brakes on it or whatever you wanted, you just tell them and that's what it'll come with. It has got a proper nice sound. The sound is immense. You will hear that very, very shortly. These aren't just your cheap plastic parts either. We've got aluminium parts, we've got carbon parts, we've got a lot of what I would say very premium parts on this bike, and that is why it can justify the price tag that it has. Apologies for the lighting, but it's very bright today. CCM do a couple of different style bikes, but essentially they're all using exactly the same engine, which is this 600cc engine we've got here. It is from Husqvarna, I believe. It's one of the race engines that they've used, so it has got plenty power. This has got 55 horsepower. CCM's bikes all start off pretty much the same. So the frame that you've got here, this first part of the frame coming down to this part here, is used on every single CCM bike, whether it be the Bobber, one of the flat trackers, one of the other style bikes. They all look pretty much the same until you get halfway in, and it's only the second part that seems to be different. So this is the Bobber version, so you've got the shortened frame here with the smaller seat, but they do have others that come out a little bit further. You've got bench seats, you've got all different styles, and the bikes themselves look completely different. They all use the same engine. Love the paint job on this. Again, that's one of the customization things that you can do. If you were to get just a solid silver, for instance, that obviously comes in with the basic price. This is a custom paint job and it looks very, very nice. You can see it sparkling in the sun and it goes really nicely with the frame colour as well. Buttons, quite basic. Right hand side, we've got nothing, absolutely nothing at all. There are no buttons on this side. Where you would normally get the engine stop, start, your kill switches, whatever, they have been moved over here. So that is your kill button, and that's your fire button. So your engine start is that one. Different, but I like it because it's different. Because who says the start button always has to go there? Don't know. Every bike manufacturer has been doing it for years, but it's just nice to have something a little bit different. This bike is also keyless. When I say it's keyless, okay, so this little fob here is what you need to start the bike. Now, it is not a case of it's in your pocket, the bike will start. You do have to actually press this against a particular point on the bike for it to start or come into life. So let me just show you that. So we've got a little circle down here. So we put that to that, and then everything comes to life, and now it's in a position, if we press the fire button, it'll start up. But I'll do that when we're going on the test ride very shortly. Digital screen, you've got your rev meter, we've got your speedo. The only thing I'm a bit confused about is the speedo. It doesn't just go up in 1, 2, 3, etc. It goes up in 1 point whatever. So you won't be doing 30 mile an hour, you'll be doing 30.0 mile an hour or 29.9. Just weird. I don't know why they've done it. It's unnecessary for me, but because that number quite frequently is changing, it does kind of draw your eyes to the speedo, probably a little bit more than what it should. Total miles, we've got your temperature gauges. I don't believe there is a fuel gauge on this bike, but you have got your fuel warning light, so if you're running out, that'll come on. And with this bike, again, to turn it off, it's not just a case of walk away from the bike. You have to get out your old friend again, and you've got to be putting it on that, and then everything comes off. Just to show you the seating position on the bike, so they have got mid controls, so albeit it's a bobber, and for me it would suit the forward controls. It's that style of bike, but the controls are pretty much dead center. So you can see my little legs, I'm flat foot both sides, little bending in knee, so I'm not stretching, so this would be ideal for a shorter rider. When your foot is on the peg, your actual riding position, back nice and straight, you're not stretching for the bars, so it's a comfortable place to stay, and you could stay here all day with no mither at all. I've got no problem with the actual seating position of it, find it really comfortable. That's the walk round done. Let's just go for a ride. I'll show you what it rides like. You will notice there's another CCM with me, because I'm with my good friend Taffy Two Wheels, who's out on one as well. I'm also going to have a go on the one he's on next time, so you'll have to tune in for that video next time. But for today, it's all about the Stealth Bobber, and so far I like it. This is just giving me that little bit of a tingle in my special man place. Now the gear changes are nice and sweet on this as well. Let's just open it up a little bit. It's got quite a lot of hurry up juice. We haven't got no TFT screens, we haven't got any kind of unnecessary things on here. There's no modes, there's no messing, it's just an absolutely gorgeous bike. It looks like a full custom build this. Every bike looks very unique, and that's part of, I think, what CCM are all about. And that's what I absolutely love about the brand, is you will have one of these bikes, someone else might have one of these bikes, but they won't be the same. They'll all be slightly tweaked different, they'll have slightly different parts on, because you can make them your own. And I love that. It's not just like buying from one of the big companies and you buy a big, you know, you buy a Japanese bike from a well-known brand, and yeah, you can bolt on some extra bits or you can change some bits, but ultimately it looks exactly the same as thousands of others that you see on the road. These are just not like that. You walk in the showroom at CCM and every bike is just slightly different. Every bike just looks unique. I don't know whether to ride it or put it on the mantelpiece. They are proper works of art. Now, let's talk about how it feels riding. Now, it's a 600cc bike, it's got 55 horsepower, so it's a decent, well, it's a decent performing bike. What I do like though is the character of it. Now, it's not completely smooth, no it's not. I'm not sat here in complete comfort. The seat is comfortable, but you do feel the vibrations coming through the seat, and to be honest, that's not something that really bothers me. Being a former Harley rider, I'm more than happy to have that. I think it's a bit of character with the bike. What are you doing, Taffy? Taffy trying to get in my videos here. The closest thing I think I've ridden to it is a Harley Davidson, because they're exactly the same. You've got the vibrations, you've got the noise, you see a reflection of yourself and you think you are the coolest mofo around. And I just think it's exactly the same with this bike. You see yourself on it and just think, I look awesome. The bike looks awesome and it's making me look better. I do keep being drawn to the Speedo though. The Speedo is very visible and I like that. The only thing I've got, and I don't think it's necessary, is why has it got point something? Why do I need to know it's 25.6 mile an hour that I'm doing? As far as your suspension goes, this is a perfect example. I am on a rough bit of road, and yeah, you can feel the lumps and bumps in the road, but again, I've not got an issue with that, because I want to know if I'm on some dodgy road. Some bikes, if the suspension's too soft and it just soaks it all up, you kind of don't feel at one with the bike, and I like to know what's happening underneath me. Let's talk bar end mirrors, because I think they look wonderful on the bike. I think it's a really aesthetically pleasing part of this bike with the bar end mirrors. What I will say is, you find, like I've got a car behind me, it's quite some distance away so I can see it perfectly. The problem is, when they get close like that is now, I can pretty much see half of the front of that car. So you do lose a bit with the visibility behind you, but you gain a lot with how the bike looks. So it's kind of one of those compromises that I'm alright with. I think it would spoil the look if it had anything other than that. Price wise, yeah, I would say they're a lot cheaper than I expected them to be fair, because my impression of CCM was these are all very much custom build bikes, and that I expected something like this was going to be costing £20,000+. However, it's just not the case. A base model of the Bobber or any of the other CCM bikes, they start at around £10,500. You can get your different suspension when you get it. You can get full Öhlins, you can get your Brembo brakes put on there, you can get whatever kind of configuration you want, which means you can spend tens of thousands of pounds more if you wanted to. Put it into some context, comparing it to a Harley Davidson type build, that is actually quite cheap. And I say, you know, I say it tongue-in-cheek. I know there's cheaper bikes out there, but if you compare it to something that it is comparable with, like a Harley Davidson, you only have to look like the base model Harley Davidson. Now you've got a choice of about 2 or 3 colours with that, and that's about it. But I think even that, you're talking more expensive than this, and you're going to get a bike that thousands of other people have got. If you're comparing it to something like that, then it is good value. Now I know you will say, oh, but what about other bikes like your Japanese bikes, similar engine size, similar performance, like your MT-07, your Honda Hornet, you've got bikes like that. Now they are completely different style to that, or to this bike. The style on those bikes is completely different. But again, it's not a custom bike, is it? It's not a bike that's going to be unique. It's a bike that you're going to have tens of thousands, if not more, out there on the streets look exactly the same. So let's give it some perspective. Let's compare it to something like a Harley Davidson, in which case this is actually great value. If I was to summarize this bike, I would have to say that it is different to the norm, but in an unbelievably good way. I absolutely love it. It's the first CCM I've ridden and I've got nothing but good things to say about it. It's comfortable, it's got enough power for me anyway to throw around the bends and have an absolute scream with. It looks unique, it looks different, there's loads of eye-catching bits on it. It's just different and I absolutely, yeah, big fan. I am now a CCM fan. If you are spending 14, 15 grand on a motorbike and you aren't considering one of these, then I suggest you go down and have a look at them first, because if you want to stand out from the crowd, this is the way to do it. And that's how I'm going to end this video. So thank you for watching. I'm going to take this bike back. I might go the long way back so I get more time with it, and that's going to do me. Bye for now, guys. Laters.